Krishna, Chaitanya, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana Puranam Yamuna Tira Vanachai Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Radha Govardhan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, all glories to the Supreme devotees. Haribol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Part 1, Chapter 3, Text 2. That's correct, yeah? 92, yeah. Rupam yaditad avabodha rasudena. Sasvani vritta tamasaha sad anugrahaya. Adugritam avatara satatya bijam. Yannabi padma bavad aham abhirasam. I normally use glasses when I read, so I'm finding it a bit difficult to read, so please excuse me. I couldn't find them, I lost them in my travels between houses. Rupam, form. Yat, which. Hitat, that. Avabodha, rasa. Of your internal potency. Udayina, with the manifestation. Sasvat, forever. Nivritta, freed. From tamasaha, material contamination. Sat anugrahaya, for that sake of the devotees. Adu, original in the creative energy of matter. Grihitam, accepted. Avatara, of the incarnations. Sata Ika Bijam, the root cause of hundreds. Yat, that which. Nabi Padma, the navel lotus flower. Bhavanat, from the home. Aham, myself. Abhirsam, generated. Translation. The form which I see is eternal, freed from material contamination, and has invented to show mercy to the devotees as a manifestation of eternal potency. This incarnation is the origin of many other incarnations, and I am born from the lotus flower grown from your navel home. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. I might actually read from my phone. That's okay. The three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Shiva, the executive heads of the three modes of material nature, passion, goodness, and ignorance, are all generated from Garbhodakshini Vishnu, who is described herein by Brahma from the Kshirodakshini Vishnu. Many Vishnu incarnations expand at different ages in the duration of the cosmic manifestation. They are expanded only for the transcendental happiness of the pure devotees. The incarnation of Vishnu, who appear at different ages and times, are never to be compared to the conditioned souls. The Vishnu Tattvas are not to be compared to deities like Brahma and Shiva, nor are they on the same level. Anyone who compares them is called a pasandi or infidel. Tamasa, mentioned herein, is the material nature, and the spiritual nature has a completely separate existence from tamaha. Therefore, spiritual nature is called avabodha rasa or avarodha rasa. Avarodha rasa means that which is completely nullifies. In the transcendence, there is no chance of material contact by any means. Brahma is the first living being, and therefore he mentions his birth from a lotus flower generated from the abdomen of a Garbhodakshini Vishnu. Srila Prabhupada ki. I ask for the blessings of the senior devotees within the room, that I can say something of use today. I haven't given Bhagavatam class for a couple of months now. I've had some difficulties within my material life, so I've just wanted to focus on getting my life straight and back in order before sitting up here and talking about Srimad Bhagavatam. I suppose what made me get up here today is that I was reading something I wrote last year. Has anyone ever written their own eulogy? No? It's kind of a weird thing to do, but what's his sannyasi's name? Bhakti Rasa Sagar Swami? Is that his whole name? I think I might be missing. So he used to come here as a brahmachari, then he started coming here as a sannyasi. He hasn't been here since COVID, I think. He's this amazing Russian sannyasi. But he does a lot of personal development stuff with the devotees, how to see which direction they're best suited within their devotional life. And one of the activities that we do is write our own eulogy. So you have to sit there, contemplate, and pretend that you're one of your best friends talking about yourself at your own funeral. And it's a really eye-opening experience, because through doing this process, you get to have a clearer vision of what direction you want your life to take, and most important, what is most dear to you in this life. It just gives you a clear understanding of the direction you want to take. And for myself, I was reading mine. I must have done it maybe a couple months away from December last year. And I got to the end of mine. Maybe Nandu was talking at my funeral. And the last thing I wanted to be known for was someone who had given his life to Srila Prabhupada, someone who tried every day to push Srila Prabhupada's movement forward. So if I could be remembered just for that, I'd be very, very, very pleased. So I was thinking about that a few days ago, and I said, I want to please Srila Prabhupada in this life, so the show must go on. And a come up here and talk a little bit about the books that he put so much effort into. For myself today, I'm just going to be talking. I normally prepare my classes. I normally write down certain points that I want to talk about, certain topics that I want to cover. Today I'm going to try to speak more from my heart and the realizations I've had through reading the Srimad Bhagavatam and my interactions with the devotees and what I've learned from Srila Prabhupada. I haven't been coming to Bhagavatam class for a while because I work at the village now. But I was pretty excited that we're on this chapter. But today I'm just going to really simplify things and something which has been in play for my life recently. And there's 3 topics that I would like to talk about today. And one's in the heading here. We've got Lord Brahma's prayers. So today I want to focus a little bit on prayers. And also on surrender, so surrendering onto Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, and our own spiritual masters. So prayer within spiritual culture is a really big thing. I know many other spiritual traditions, they focus a lot on prayer. They wake up in the morning, they're praying like 6 hours straight, non-stop. And I think for myself, especially as a devotee, I don't know about you guys, but I can get a bit weak when it comes to prayer. Like I chant my rounds, I follow the 4 regulative principles, I eat prasadam, I read Prabhupada's books, but when I take a really deep look at my own devotional life, there's not really any prayer there. But prayer is such an important part of our devotional life because it's bringing us into contact with our best friend, which is Krishna. So we're really coming into contact with Krishna. And it's a really beautiful way to open our hearts to Krishna and also devotees around us. So I had a deep look at my own life and I was thinking, when things are going all cherry ripe, and if you know what cherry ripe means, it means that your life's going good. So when things are going good in your life, we don't really have any reason to pray because you're getting up in the morning, you're ecstatic, Krishna consciousness, you're in Guru Puja, Hari Hari Bol, eating prasadam, associating with so many beautiful devotees. But sometimes in all that excitement and bliss of devotional life, we forget to connect deeply with Krishna on a prayer level, which is so important. And that brings me to the next part, which is sometimes, unfortunately for us, as living entities within this material body, Krishna realizes that we're doing Krishna consciousness, but we're not really going deep into our Krishna consciousness. So sometimes we can just be floating on the surface levels of Krishna consciousness. We can be chanting inattentively. We can be reading Prabhupada's books, forgetting what we read. We can be having fun with the devotees. We can be dancing in the temple. But are we really connecting with devotees on a deep level? Are we really connecting with the books that we're reading? Are we really understanding the prayers that we sing in the temple? Are we really understanding when we're singing to Srila Prabhupada, the deities in the morning? So we kind of get into this kind of smooth sailing with our own Krishna consciousness. Krishna can take note of that. And if Krishna really loves you, he might give you a good old whoosh and take a few things away from you. So if this happens within one's life and something very dear to you gets taken away from you in this material world, you have no other choice, because through that happening, we feel as though that we've got nowhere to really turn. And we start to go deeper within ourselves and we start to pray to Krishna. We start to pray to Krishna for help. We start to ask Krishna, please be with me. And it's through these kind of prayers that we become closer to Krishna. And through becoming closer to Krishna, we're then surrendering more and more onto Krishna. So there's some amazing stories within the Bhagavatam about those who have surrendered onto Krishna, who have given so much for Krishna. Has anyone ever heard the story of Bali Maharaj? He had ownership over the three worlds. He had so many riches, so much land, so much prestige. But someone took all that from him. Who knows who took that from Bali Maharaj? Vamanadev, yes. And how many steps? 3,000 swoops, or should I say 3 steps. So after 2 steps though, he had already covered all that land, and he went up to Bali Maharaj. And he said to Bali Maharaj, where should I step next? And Bali Maharaj said, you've taken everything from me. I've got nothing else to give you. But he was inspired within, and he was inspired within because he had a great grandfather who was Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. So on that 3rd step, he offered himself, he offered his own head for the Lord to step on. And that's us within this life. Sometimes we have to give everything to the Lord, but most importantly, we have to give ourselves. And this is Krishna consciousness. So that's a realization that I've had lately, that we just have to be really careful within Krishna consciousness, that we don't just hover on the surface levels, that we go nice and deep, like Sham Manohar Das Brahmachari. a very inspiring devotee of the Lord. And it's through our own suffering sometimes within Krishna consciousness and looking deep within ourselves and through our prayers to Krishna that we're able to access deeper parts of our heart. And through this access of our deeper parts of our heart, we're able to have deeper relationships with the devotees. We're able to dive deeper into the text that Srila Prabhupada has offered before us, deeper into our prayers and just deeper into our practice. And this is how we make advancement in our Krishna consciousness. Does anyone have any questions so far before I continue? Yes. Do we have another microphone?
Thank you. Just kind of on that idea that it's easy to get comfortable and complacent in Krishna consciousness, and sometimes Krishna brings us suffering to wake us up out of it. I know that's the case for myself. Does it need to be that way? Or can we stay focused and not get complacent and comfortable without then needing to be suffering as an instance?
I think it can be that way, but it seems a lot of people need a bit of a push in that direction. The material world is just a very difficult place. The material world is so luring. There's so much glitz and glamour within the material world, and there's so many things that we can get caught up within. Even within Krishna consciousness, even within our practice, we can get sidetracked or pushed this way and that way. So it's just through Krishna's love. Like it states in the Bhagavad Gita in the 10th canto that if Krishna likes you, he gives you everything. If he really loves you, he takes everything away. And as painful as that is to sometimes get so much stripped from you materially, it's actually quite a glorious thing because it's bringing us closer to Krishna. And at the end of the day, everything within this material world, the things that we own, the interactions that we have, the things that we do are all projecting us in one direction and for our progression in Krishna consciousness and to eventually become Krishna consciousness. Krishna conscious, I should say. So I know for myself, I do get complacent in spiritual life, so Krishna is going to give me a bit of a redirection sometimes. And we have to see that in a grateful way. Anything that is making us more Krishna conscious in our life is very special. So yeah. And there's great examples, like, there's even some devotees on this farm who are unbelievable devotees, like, who knows Krishna Kirtan Prabhu? Krishna Kirtan Prabhu Ki! Sending you wishes, Krishna Kirtan Prabhu. Best wishes. So I'm down at the village the other day, and this man is an unbelievable, inspiring devotee. So I'm at the village the other day, and I get a phone call, and it's Krishna Kirtan. It says KK on my phone. And I'm like, I'm not going to answer it. I'll just let it slide. I'm too busy. I'll ring him back in a few hours. And I thought, actually, I'll just answer it. And I answer it, and it's KK. He's on the phone, and he's like, Padma, please come. I'm in the paddock near Gopal's house. I'm on the ground. I think I'm about to pass out. Please come. The bulls have just hit me. I'm just like, what? And I hop in the car and I get someone from the village. I'm like, please come with me. KK's on the ground. We have to move fast. And luckily all the gates were open to that paddock because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 gates to go through. I'm in my car driving through the paddocks. And I get there and he's got up from the ground from that point and he's holding a stick and he's curled over a stick. So this man's just been hit by one of the biggest bulls. Around 800 kilos straight into the side of the rib cage in the head and fallen onto the ground. Flew like 5 meters in the air. He shattered all his rib cage on one side. He's bleeding from the brain. And the first thing he says to me when I get there is, Padma, we need to feed the cows together. I'm just like, what? We need to feed the cows together. This guy, this devotee of the Lord, he has no kidneys. He's on dialysis every day for 7 hours. Mechanical valve within the heart. He's down there within those paddocks every day working as hard as any young person I know. He's just been hit by one of the strongest bulls we've had. They've shattered all his ribs. He's bleeding from the brain. He's 61. And instead of saying, look, I'm just going to go and take rest now. I need to go to hospital. This is what someone who's so dedicated to the Lord and someone who's so surrendered to the Lord, Padma, it's okay. We'll feed the cows here, the bulls. Then after that, we'll hop in my car. We'll go to the other side. We'll feed those bulls. And if I feel like it, I'll go to the hospital then. So it's just so inspiring to see someone in that kind of consciousness just giving their life to Krishna. And we can take so much inspiration from that. So to me, Krishna Kirtan is like surrendered. He's a surrendered devotee. And then when we finally got him to go to the hospital, he doesn't want to sit in the passenger seat. He wants to drive himself to hospital. So once again, shattered ribs, bleeding from the brain. And he's still talking about Krishna, so he's hopping in the car. Oh, Padma, I'm just trying to enjoy the material world and this is what happens. So surrendered, and he drives himself to hospital. It was too painful for him to sit in the passenger seat because obviously all his ribs were falling apart. And the other driver was going too fast. So this is Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, who is completely surrendered to Krishna, and someone who's gone deep into their Krishna consciousness, just not on the surface levels, but he's given his life to Krishna, understanding the philosophy, giving so much to devotees and so much to the bulls and cows, which are so dear to Krishna. And also not getting resentful. Like Krishna Kirtan's given how many years to the bulls? 30-something years to the bulls, and they've got him a few times. And it's not like, these bulls, I'm not going to serve these bulls anymore. It's like, oh, these poor bulls, I got in their way, I was in the way. So such an amazing devotee and can take so much inspiration from him. And it doesn't just stop there. He goes to hospital, and like last time when he was in hospital, he preaches, he teaches Krishna consciousness to everyone else within the hospital. Yeah. So it's just an amazing thing. Yeah. Yeah. So it's really amazing. So this is someone who's prayed to Krishna and someone who's fully surrendered to Krishna. And, we can look at our own lives and we go through difficulties and hardships and we have our problems and our minds are racing and people are saying this and people are saying that. It can be very distracting in our own devotional life. But we can grab inspiration from the devotees within the Srimad Bhagavatam, but also devotees around the farm like KK who've gone through so much and just continue to show up every day, day in and day out. To be honest, I don't even know how he's still operating. It must be just through Krishna's mercy. So yeah, through our own difficulties, we can take a seat, meditate on these great devotees around the world and also within the Bhagavatam and get inspired ourselves. And someone within that position, like I touched on before, who has that deep connection with Krishna, true surrender to Krishna, obviously they start to get the qualities of a devotee. So So there's 26 amazing qualities of the devotee, and those who are surrendered to Krishna radiate those devotees, those qualities, and they're really nice to be around. So that's our Krishna Kirtan story. I hope he's going to listen to this. Krishna Kirtan Prabhu Ki Jai. Any questions so far? Come on, a few questions. Come on. Any questions? Yes, Lucas.
So you was talking, thanks for the class, by the way. You was talking about the Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu being the different modes.
Guna, avatars.
Yeah, you've been talking about the different modes before. Like
Yeah.
the different modes. Would you be able to touch a bit more on that?
Yeah. Let's go back to the... So, we'll have a question there. Lord Shiva, ignorance. Vishnu, not Vishnu, Brahma, passion. And we've got Vishnu. Goodness. There you go. So they're overlooking all of those three modes of material nature. Guna avatars. So they're the guna, they're overlooking those. So they're called guna avatars. There's three of them overlooking those modes of nature. Those modes of nature, they're controlling everyone within the material world, whether you like it or not. They're like strings. You've seen that picture within the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, so that's why it's very important to wake up. If anyone's ever woken up late within this material world, the modes of nature are already underway. So when you step out of your front door, you get swept away by certain modes of nature. But if one wakes up early and they're chanting, they're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, they're offering prayers to Krishna, they put themselves in the mode of goodness. And when they step out their front door, they're already in that mode and are not so easily swept away by the other modes. And that's why it's so important to wake up early and be sharp in our Krishna consciousness, not be put off track by these modes of nature. Because they're around us everywhere we go. And sometimes they're stronger at certain times of the day also, certain environments that we step into. Like recently we were just at Splendor in the Grass. That place, it's really difficult to be there sometimes. If anyone's ever been to Splendor in the Grass, or even for those who haven't been to Splendor in the Grass, it's a big music festival. So there's around 35,000 people there, and there's music coming from all different directions. Dance music, do, 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 do. A band over there, bow, 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 bow. Singing bowls, woo, 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 woo. Didgeridoos, wah, 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 wah. People rapping, and then you've got all these different smells coming at you from all different directions. Even though we're cooking prasadam, there's meat places over here and that place over there. So your senses are very overwhelmed. People on lots of intoxication, don't know where they are. So it's very overwhelming. So there's a lot of passion and ignorance in that place. And after being in a place like this for so many years, it's kind of very bewildering to be in a place like that. It's kind of gives you a headache, and after a while you're just I just want to go home. So Johnny had every night, she said, I just want to go home, Padma. I want to go back to New Govardhana. I want to take shelter from New Govardhana. So you notice it when you step out into the world, and especially certain areas, it's really strong. And we're so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada's created these kind of centers all around the world where we're protected from the world and we can become strong in our Krishna consciousness, and we become strong by following the process that Srila Prabhupada has laid down before us. And when we become strong in our own Krishna consciousness, then we can go to places like Splendor in the Grass, or go out there in the streets and give out Srila Prabhupada's books, or go and preach to the masses somewhere around the world. But we're strong, we're not bewildered. Because someone who's not strong in their Krishna consciousness can step into a place like that which has so much passion and so much ignorance, and all of a sudden, they're washed away. Next minute, they're just on the dance floor all day. They're taking intoxication, and you never see them ever again. So it does happen. We've got to be very protective of our Krishna consciousness. And that's through us surrendering onto Krishna. Like our great teachers here, like Krishna Kirtan Prabhu. When that surrenders there, it makes it much easier to step out into the world and hold everything together. So yeah.
Just a bit more.
Yeah.
Directly to your question. The reason why the strict ignorance is in charge of ignorance, he's in charge of ghosts and ghouls, he's covered in ashes, snake around his neck. So that's his service. Brahma is creating everything, he's creating this universe, this world. So passion, how to create things. Vishnu, maintainer,
Maintenance.
He's laying on the stage, he's being beside by his wife. So he's calm and peaceful, so he's in charge of goodness. They're all, maybe Vishnu's a bit more important because he's not different from Krishna, but Shiva and Brahma, they're equally, it's not like Shiva's in the void of ignorance, so we don't respect him. He's known to be the greatest devotee of Krishna because he's doing it as a service, even though he's in charge of the mode of ignorance, still he's doing it as a service. And also Smritamita, asking if we can come to Krishna or surrender to Krishna without having to suffer. It's there, it's available, and we hear there's like different ways of coming to Krishna consciousness. The first class, Prabhupada would say, someone with greater intelligence, they just know there's nothing good for me in this material world. Krishna's supreme personality, but I'm his servant, I have to surrender to him. Second class, he sees something, what's the second class? There's someone who's suffering and then they come to Krishna consciousness. Third class, they see someone suffering, they know they should do it and they still don't do it. We're all pretty much in the second and third class. We know we're suffering, but still we don't want to surrender. And sometimes we suffer, maybe I should surrender. We're kind of going back and forth. But the first class is still there. We're not first class. All these I'm not, but yeah, it's available there.
Yeah. Even Srila Prabhupada said in that class in Melbourne, he said one can become fully Krishna consciousness within a matter of a second. But, is that determination, motivation, everything's there. That mood of complete surrender. Within this material world, there's so many things to cling on to, so many things that catch our sight, our attention, pull us away. But if we can just take a step each day closer to Krishna, maintain our vision towards Krishna, especially when things get difficult, Krishna will be very merciful to us and bring us closer to Him. Krishna is always there, within our life. We've done this hundreds of thousands of times, get washed around within this material world, chewing the chewed, as Prabhupada would say, but still we just want more and more. And while we're doing that, while we're within this material world, experiencing the storms, the suffering, the brutalness of this material world, sometimes the prestige, the fame, the money, all that kind of thing, Krishna's always there, and we're just continuously just turning away from Him. This is explained within the Bhagavatam. Always turned away from Him, but Krishna's always just looking at us. When's He going to turn to me? When's He going to turn to me? And as we were saying here, the level we're at, where we're so caught up within the material world that sometimes it takes a big happening within our life for us to be like a light bulb goes off, bing! We start to turn towards Krishna because we find out we've taken so much shelter of things within the material world, they've given us nothing. People take shelter of intoxication, of other people, of certain philosophies, but still it's just so loose and light. But in this life, we've got this opportunity to turn towards Krishna, and sometimes it takes that little, we turn towards Krishna, and Krishna's been waiting lifetime after lifetime. He takes our hand and we start to go with Krishna. And we'll do it in this lifetime. Yeah. We've got the opportunity. Everything's laid down before us. We've got the inspiration around us. Like Keshava Maharaj said, get up, dress up, show up. And your Krishna consciousness will be successful. Any other questions from outside?
Just We're just talking about like be ready now, 7 up before you go to splendor or these.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Imagine what Shiva. He's in charge
Yeah.
of all the ignorance about not just this world, not just this planet Earth, and not just in this universe, but all the universes. He's in charge of it, and he's flowed the way of Krishna. Imagine his level of this austerity.
He really has a devoted by being worthy.
Yeah.
Which is the flow of Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just goes to show don't disrespect any god, especially Shiva. Anyone, but yeah.
Yeah. I was having a nice conversation. I can see David Gorahari out there at the moment. He's deep in chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. He said something really nice to me the other day. We were having a nice conversation about Krishna consciousness, and you know, we can feel surrender within our Krishna consciousness when everything's going smooth and cherry ripe, like I was talking about earlier on in the class. But when things get rattled up within our own Krishna consciousness, that's when the real work starts within our Krishna consciousness. That's when we get tested to where we're going to turn. Are we turning to the books? Are we turning to devotees? Are we going deeper into our chanting? So we can just look at it like that within our own lives when things aren't going the best, when we get put off the path a little bit, when we get knocked down. It's just another opportunity for us to go deeper into our own Krishna consciousness and become closer to Krishna. And yeah, that's a real beautiful thing. And at the end of the day, that's the perfection of this life, to become closer and closer to Krishna. So we'll stop there, I think. That's everything. Cool. Srila Prabhupada ki. All the devotees ki.